So this week we're covering the common programming concepts. The only key thing on this page, I guess, is that there's some reserved keywords within Rust, which is pretty much the same as every other language. And so I think the key difference between Rust and most other languages is that variables are immutable by default. So if we set thing to another value, by default, this won't be allowed because it's immutable. So we just need to set that as mutable.
Changes it.
Yeah, I think that's quite nice in that it's pretty explicit. But then confusingly also, Rust also has constants, which I think the only real difference here is that it can't come from a function call. That's right.
It just needs to be known at compile time.
Yeah, but like there's no way of, like you can't declare it any other way, right? As a constant. Like you literally have to write it in like this, right? That's right, in the problem. Yeah, I think so. Like, I think there's no way of, like you can with a constant, like you can make a function call and return a value.
So then whether the compiler is clever enough to evaluate an expression like 2 plus 2 in compile time and make that a constant. Maybe we'll try.
Yeah, we can try that.
Point, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I made a function thing, and obviously I can make this thing, and that works as expected. And now if we change that to a let, again that works. And I think this one, yeah. So it explicitly requires the type.
Oh no, hang on.
I think
It's a syntax error.
what's that?
It's a syntax error. Instead of equal. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so it won't let you even declare it as something that's dynamic. And then as Alistair said, I don't think
Can you make that bigger?
I can't, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think this works either, even if we declare this.
It will actually do getting a compiler warning because I didn't give it an all uppercase name, but it does run.
Oh, I see.
Because this constant needs to be uppercase.
Interesting. But it can't be a function return value.
The error message that you got when you tried the function was not very clear.
This one?
Like, yeah. Like it didn't say that you can't use a function there. It says expected function, found string. It's like it's trying to assign the function to the constant or something, isn't it?
Oh yes, it's actually trying to assign the function to thing.
Oh, I see.
So maybe if you call the function and store the value and then assign it to the constant, will that work?
The expected function to be string.
Yeah, so it can't
Yeah,
change a dynamic environment from a function item.
Yeah, the reason why it's expecting a string is because we explicitly label it as a string.
Yeah, but I mean, the phrasing of the sentence is like expected function. I would have thought that meant that it expected a function to be the thing that you're assigning.
I think what it meant is like, I expected you to type hint function there, but I found the string type hint. But yeah, it's weird. It should be saying I expected a string. No, I found it.
Oh, so you're thinking it's
I think
telling
it-
about the type.
Yeah, I think
Expected a
sometimes.
function type, not.
Yeah, I think sometimes it does that.
I think this is permitted. Let's just comment out this. And let's turn back to that to compile. I need to return, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's still expecting it to be function.
Oh, because in the second line you're assigning
A function.
an integer to the function variable, right?
Oh no, look.
Oh, things.
Size for value. Oh, so yeah, can it be named?
Maybe because you have a function and a constant.
So you've got two things called thing, one's a function and one is a constant.
Yeah, I think that's
So if
it.
you just rename your function to something that's not a thing, I think it'll work. Or actually, I suppose that syntax is not relevant. I think what you had earlier would have worked if the function weren't called thing.
So what else?
So you were trying to call thing as a function, but it was seeing that you had a local variable called thing and it was trying to call that, which isn't valid.
And you can't assign a function to a constant because the size is not known at compile time. Apparently, yeah. Makes sense, right? Because you're returning a string pointer,
To the,
I guess. If your function returns
oh, I see.
an integer,
You're
for instance,
saying this,
yeah, it doesn't know how big that is at compile time, maybe.
I mean, just make it out there, if that's the issue. I don't think that's the issue.
I think that's one issue, and then it will tell you that you can't.
Give you another issue.
Yeah,
The
expected trace.
TSD my thing return.
Oh yeah, that f needs to be lowercase.
No, what about as in the type of returns?
What, the one that.
And also, yeah.
Why, what do you mean?
Change string for I32.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, and then put other instead of thing. Because you got up, let other.
No, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to assign the
Oh, the actual
function
function.
to be
Okay,
a
yeah.
constant function, but I don't know. Anyway, let's
Hang on, you
stop
said-
with this rabbit hole.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you can box it maybe. Just box it. Just put it in a box, right?
We're going on.
No, I mean the
I don't know.
signature. The signature. Yeah, but yeah, it's the second chapter of the book.
Let's
Jack,
we don't need to cover boxes.
constants are constants.
So constants are constants. Let's just take that at face value. That you
For now,
can't
yeah.
do anything other than like an expression. I think they get compiled into the binary, right? The maths gets resolved and things like that. So the other thing that's quite different, I guess, in Rust. I guess this is more similar to dynamic languages, where you can shadow the other variables dynamically and keep reassigning them. So you don't really have mutability here. You just create a new X keyword.
This is a let that's causing that happen.
Yeah. So it's kind of behaving like it's mutable, but it's just a reassignment to a new keyword, and that shadows this. So you're actually redeclaring a new variable at these points.
And the value's dropped before.
Yeah, so this X gets dropped at the point that this gets declared.
Okay.
So the memory goes away at this assignment. But it's pretty much the same behavior as non-compiled languages, I guess. Yeah, I don't really like this. I don't know how others feel.
I think in the book they mention why it exists, right? They give an example where your code gets very messy if you don't have that. But you have to create multiple variables.
So I think
So it's nice in that way to be able to do that.
I think like the use case that I've come up with is, like this kind of thing. Where there's two types of string types, and you end up wanting to change one type of string to another type of string.
For example.
So I only really used it for that kind of use case where you take in one type and it's pretty much expressed in a totally different type, but it's still the same data. And so like having it as lots of programming.
So like if you had like a total variable and you were doing some calculations like adding taxes and things, you just keep calling it total, right?
I would
just make it mutable.
Yeah, I think that's more for like mutable state, whereas like it's kind of annoying when you like
Just casting. the
just yeah I mean it's not casting, but yeah pretty much.
I think it works best when you have different types. So like if you take an input as a string and you want to change it to a number later on, but let's say you don't want to rename what your thing is. So like a choice.
So I did see a blog post recently though about a bug that was caused by this behaviour because somebody inserted a new variable in the middle of a function unaware that there was already a variable of that name and of the same type being used for something different. So it was quite happily just rebounded and then the code further down it was using the original variable suddenly doesn't work anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, was it?
So someone was still using the first X.
Exactly.
But you'd already rewritten it as the second X.
Right, and so later down they expected the string.
Yeah.
I don't know what
The problem was that
that-
they knew the second programmer wanted to create a variable called X, which was happened to be the same type as the existing X that he wasn't aware of. So therefore, it's not a compile error; it's just a bug.
Yeah, this is why it feels wrong to me.
Yes, I suppose this is only happening if your functions are big.
Yeah, but they grow over size over time, right? Like I don't know, like yeah, I don't like it if yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I don't really
But
like
it says here, you get, like that sentence of opposite, you get a error if you try to compile it. So it says, because we'll get a compile time error if we accidentally try to reassign this variable without using that keyword. So it's literally
Yeah.
just because they've used let, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so without that, this would change type, so that, well, it would change type, but it'd also be mutability, so you don't have mute here, and you're not declaring the type, so, it would fail for two reasons, I guess. Whereas, yeah, so it's, so it's like they changed it and then further on, there's a second error as well. Is everyone happy with that? It's fairly standard, right? Okay, I'll move on.
Here's the one. That's a long one.
Is it?
Three different data types. Crazy.
But it's quite obvious pictures or code.
What was that, sir?
Quite a lot of it is code or pictures.
Yeah, so this, I mean, it just mostly covers the primitive types within Rust, which I think are mostly conventional.
Character one was interesting to me.
Yeah, to represent a single character.
Yeah.
That won't compile, for example. But I think, I mean, this just comes from the fact that Rust is fairly low level, so having variables of a single character data point, I guess, makes sense. I don't really know.
Languages like C# have that as well.
Yeah. I guess, does it get stored as a U8 under the hood?
Probably.
Yeah.
Can't really tell. Actually, I suppose it's got to be more than that, isn't it? Because it supports Unicode.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It can be 2 bytes at least.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit arbitrary, like why it exists then, in that case.
Because string is then implemented as an array of those. It seems.
I felt like the strings weren't now, that's the thing, like you can unsafely iterate through them. Because they're just an array of U8s.
They are array of U8s, but the actual iterator will
Do it by
read,
count.
yeah. Based on, so you can access it unsafely. Because some letters might be 2.
I think
By default, 8.
no, I think by default it doesn't do that. I think you have to call like
Oh,
chars
Charles, yeah.
function or something like that.
Yeah, I think they iterated by
If you-
default.
Oh,
Each
that's
individual U8.
try it.
wasn't I adding it up?
Give it a go.
What, the string?
If you create a string with multiple Unicode characters and then iterate through it and print.
I don't actually know the syntax to be honest.
Just
What, so like
it's a string from a bunch of Unicode characters like that.
and then what is it?
Yeah, I think it is it. Me too.
In fact, you can just do 4, right? Doesn't have an iterator.
Oh yeah, it has a method called charts.
I think it's because 4
Yeah.
it expects into iterator. Yeah. As a what, sorry?
It has a method called charts and that returns an iterator. That's how it is.
I see. I thought you could access them non-safely as well.
Yeah, I think so. Just check.
I think you can use square bracket notation like an array, and then
Or you-
panic if you pick something that's not on a character boundary.
It has another method called bytes. It returns an iterator of bytes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because obviously the Z's, what, 2 is it, and then the other one's 4 maybe? Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Can you call like it starts with and then passing a Unicode characters? Well, yeah, I guess that would work. Yeah, that would work.
Depends on case.
If you were gonna check if it starts with a Unicode character, yeah, that just works. I think.
So the only other thing that might be unfamiliar to dynamic language, like PHP and JavaScript, are the fact that you've got quite a lot of types that are primitive to numbers and strings. I don't know if there's anything that's
You don't have a catch-all like you do with like C++ or whatever. You can just say int and then assume the compiler will choose something.
Oh yeah,
either
if
two
you
or
don't
whatever.
put it,
that's
it has a default. It chooses I32, I think, by default.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's mentioned above that.
I thought it chose the based on the system.
No, that's I size.
Oh, right about.
So like on an
Yeah.
8-bit system, I size would be 8-bit. But I think there is a default.
Yeah.
Oh, you're about in. Okay.
I think it's I32. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's I32.
So it's literally just the size allocated in memory. So obviously you don't need I128 if you're expressing 3 numbers or something.
Exactly.
again, obviously, languages like PHP just allocate here and then just reallocate more when it needs it. And this is pretty cool. I wasn't aware of any other language that did this as well. The underscore separator just.
It can get messy though.
I think the latest version of C# might let you do that, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay,
I don't know if I agree with it.
but it doesn't actually matter. Really.
In some cases, yeah. But if you got a bigger calculation, then I'd say no.
It makes it easier to keep track of how many zeros you've got.
So yeah, you can. I think you can put in as many as you want as well. Yeah,
I didn't do anything.
it did. I mean, like it just ignores them.
Yeah, just give it a one.
Or why do you want to? Oh, so it makes it a decimal. It makes it a decimal number. Or what does it do?
I think too, basically. It's just a nice way of doing separators, basically.
Ah, okay,
So you
okay,
just go
okay.
like, oh yeah.
It's for your eye candy, no? So you read better. That's cool.
It's just confirm this, the ability to use underscores like that is one of the new features in C#7.
I see. But yeah, so like I think it's a new idiom rather than something that's been around for a long time. I don't think C has it.
Binary.
That's cool, actually.
You want to learn binary? Way to go. Binary.
But again, because it's a system
It's
language,
important. It's important.
It is.
it has conversion keys. So it takes a character.
Point brief.
And so the importance here is
You used to be able to.
it's the single quotes.
Say like.
But there's also a binary string as well, I think. Is there not? What did I do?
So it's an array of binary.
It doesn't even know it display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could have done that anyway to express the string, I guess. Although actually their implementation of string probably has a better format to it. Rather than spitting out like that, binary did earlier. That's the debugger output, right? So other than that, like I don't think there's anything important
Integer overflow.
there. Yeah, I guess we could cover that. So
We need some very unexpected behavior.
That makes sense. I think if we change it to 256,
Are they able to?
so this should overflow, I think.
That's what I was.
Right, like
It's
it
taking a while, right?
I don't know why.
It's a complicated program.
Okay, so
Oh, wow.
so the which mode are we in?
Oh yeah, this was different behavior in release and debug.
Yeah, so in really? No, I think it wraps in both, right? I think we're on about arithmetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so for this, it just wraps, I think.
Yes, it
But
does.
we're, I think what you're talking about
But
is,
when you do arithmetic, okay. Nice to know.
um, so I think in the least this should parent, right?
Or free
It's also
is
strong,
me,
so
right?
let's
Yeah.
lose an 8 point.
True.
Oh, you print the wrong value. You print it X instead of me.
But that, it should overflow at this point. It should.
Focus 1 and 2 is still less than 256.
Let's do that.
No, man. Oh, what happened now?
Oh.
Have you overridden
Yeah, so
X
this one,
memory?
so I printed out that, but I don't know why it hasn't panicked.
Oh, it's weird because now X has a different value. X value is 90
Because you're in
now.
release mode.
Yeah, so it's panic and release, whereas in.
I think it's only debug that does the check, because it's considered too slow for production code.
So I'm doing it on mine.
What?
What if you have in-range values for both and it's only the sum that's out of range, I think then you get the panic.
Because it's
What, 256, did you say?
Yes. Actually, I think 255 might be the limit for 9-bit.
That's pretty interesting. It's like C. You're overriding the memory of X when you assign me, maybe.
No,
Yeah, because X is 255. But look, now it's -1. You're not changing X, you're changing me. So it's indirectly changing X as well.
No, you're changing X and printing X.
But it's not
Sometimes
changing-
anything.
It's not changing X, it's changing me, right?
He's changing X and printing X.
How is it changing
You'd be
X?
editing line 2.
yeah,
No, I mean, yeah, but the value is different. The value is -3.
It's because it's signed.
it's wrapping.
It's because it's signed, so it isn't, if it's too.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get you now, yeah. So. Right, yes.
I didn't even notice that using.
There you go.
I see. So,
So what?
So now it is panicking.
yeah. And then in release it won't panic.
Yeah.
So I think you can also explicitly choose whether you want to wrap or
With a compiled
saturate
one.
or panic.
Is it a compiled one? or-
And I think there's actually special add methods that let you explicitly say what you want to do if it overflows.
Yeah, there's a check tab, I think.
So I think there's also wrapping add and saturating add.
Yeah. That's the right name?
So it didn't panic when you assigned a number that was too big for it, but it only panicked when you did arithmetic that caused it to go through.
I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, it was going to compile a warning if you tried to
Oh,
assign.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, it's too big.
Oh, okay.
Because you can do the wrapping for when you assign a value up compartment. Whereas,
Yeah, so I'm a bit surprised it was only a warning, not an error actually from the compiler.
Yeah, it's
that's an interesting point.
Yeah. But I guess it's kind of known that compiled time, right?
Well, I guess if you are getting that value from somewhere else, like you're reading it from disk or something, you have no control.
Yeah.
Then
So this-
panicking, I don't know.
This is returning none when it exceeds the value of the UA size, which is what Alistair was talking about. So
Oh,
this
nice.
This is a safe way of doing the arithmetic, such that you actually know whether the value is within range. So if we change this to like, I don't know, 1 and 12, it should return an optional sum. Yeah. So then you do get unwrapping of that value. Okay, so we covered, yeah, so like we saw the fact that the value was wrapping. And then there's nothing particularly different, I think, about floats.
Just, your common precision errors.
Yeah, again, all this is fairly standard, right?
So does it make any mention of what happens if you try and add like an integer to a float?
It's a compile error.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so not like C++ or whatever, where they just.
No, this
Pass
doesn't
them for you and-
just give you too many surprises, so you just have to make it every
Right,
cast
yeah,
explicit.
yeah,
So
that makes sense.
So there's only F32 and 64, is that right? Or I think there's F128 as well now, but there's not F8, right?
So it's, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. X plus Y.
But it's not called a double.
What there?
It's not called a
It's not called
double.
a double. With a 64. Cannot add UH to F32. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Right.
Yeah, so obviously there's methods there.
But you can do it if you implement the trait.
You can also just write, like me equals X plus Y as F32, and then we'll do, it's just a cast and it works.
Oh, okay.
But obviously you have to opt into that, which is nice, rather than.
Yes, you always know exactly what it's doing.
But yeah, the thing that Jamal said then is that you can't implement this trait for that. Because this isn't your trait and it isn't your type. You can't.
Yeah.
You can only implement traits for when you own one or the other. So if you own the type itself, or if you own the trait, you can't when you don't own both. So yeah, there's no way of like even forcing that add to it, other than the methods which are explicit. Boolean, again, fairly conventional, I think. We can cover that. We already covered character, I think. And so yeah, we get onto tuples, which if you're not from a compiled language, is probably a bit more different. But it's basically a fixed size array that doesn't change and is typed at compile time. There's no way of changing those types, I think. But unlike an array, you can have them of different types. Yeah. Have you seen this much at all?
Tuple, no, I haven't actually. Sometimes, but
Yeah,
The only interesting thing to know is that, like, that by default is that the return functions, if they don't have a return, is the empty tuple.
tuple. I haven't had a chance to use them. Have you guys used them at all?
yeah, you kind of, I don't know what the word is struct it with a length.
Yeah, so that's what this is. Oh, sorry, no, it's not. Ignore.
It's the most useful if you just want to return two values from a function.
Oh, yeah.
To define your own structure for it.
Yeah, that's
And can you assign it to, like in Python? Can you like in Python, you can return and return two values and instantly split them into two variables?
Yeah.
That's very good in Rust actually.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about the
Okay.
Is it this? I can't remember the syntax.
You don't need to specify that.
Yeah, you don't need to specify the type. Yeah. You will infer it. You just give it two variable names, right? Yeah, just give it two variable names or three. That's it. So now you have those variables inside the brackets.
You technically don't really need the if, do you?
The if left.
Do you?
Yeah. Maybe not. That's a good point actually.
What the hell's that?
So that is saying you don't need the if, so I'm not going to let you have the if.
Yeah, because it's.
Oh,
fixed, isn't
yeah.
it? So what? So I just have to do this.
You don't need the if, yeah.
That's interesting.
That's it. You got the value.
I've never seen that error before.
Nice.
Interesting.
You can also ignore.
But obviously that it wouldn't do that if it was a return from a function show.
Yeah, it would, right? Because you have
You
nothing.
still know what the types are, you just don't know what the values will be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to-
fixed. Yeah,
you have
fixed
to-
size and type.
That's quite cool.
Okay. Yeah. That's
You can also ignore values with the underscore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although it's now not going to compile because I did B, and it's also not going to compile because I did it. But anyway,
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough.
but yeah, that would work.
I don't know what you want.
Oh yeah, I use Topo, sorry, all the time with my errors. If you send in an enum as a result, and that enum is an error that has multiple things like such as, I don't know, syntax error or something. Those errors are topos with values inside.
So you basically ignore those.
Information about the error, such as what line it failed or what data was wrong, things like that.
Yeah, I think the empty one's quite useful.
Oh yeah, that's useful.
So you can do things like and then let's say you're prototyping something and you, I don't know, let's say you need to return the sum or a none. And then later you can fill this in. I don't know, I've used it for that a bit, but yeah, I don't know. It's not that common, but I guess it depends on what level you're programming at, I guess. Like at a lower level, I think it comes up more.
I suppose it's more useful with results, so you might want to just say okay without having a return value that goes with the okay.
But then you can do you can just do optional, right? Or bool, or I don't know. But
Yeah, so I suppose if it's something like write to a file or something, then it doesn't need to return the value, but it needs to tell you whether it worked or not. So then returning okay with nothing in it would make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you access the individual ones like this as well. We didn't cover that. Because it's fixed size, you basically you access them by numeric.
X1, X2,
Yeah.
0.
So if you're doing that, you probably want to create a struct, I think. So it's easier to see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of useful for when you've got coordinates, maybe, but
Yeah. But still, like,
yeah, I don't know. And then arrays are basically the same, right? But they're all the same type. So they're fixed size. You can't append to them like you can in most languages.
And we just changed it to read declared array, and that's a different type.
Yeah. And yeah, so you access them like that. Oh yeah, that's kind of the same as what we were talking about earlier with overflow. So you can, I mean, it says it here, doesn't if you access a variable that doesn't exist, so in this case 10, it doesn't exist in the array, it will panic.
That's that compile time.
No,
It's
runtime, because this is like dynamic, so it doesn't really know whether it's in range. But there are methods, right? Like get is it? I don't use array that often, but I use spec, which is just as unsafe for this kind of thing.
So then get will give you an option so you can check whether it's somewhere, and then there's also an unsafe get unchecked, which will make you do buffer overflows if you really, really want to.
Okay. What happens if indexes are const?
Interesting. Expects a type.
It has to be used as an index.
Because then it's not going to be negative.
Right, it does catch that. Length is 5 bit and index is 10.
And that's compile time, right? Nice.
Didn't know that.
Is it? Yeah, nice. Yeah.
That's interesting. What we were gonna, I think that's the right syntax. Yeah, so then if we did 22, it should return none, I think.
Yeah.
I think you can also do ranges inside there. So
What, for the array?
for the get,
Oh, really?
you do like,
Like
yeah, you might need it. But interestingly,
that? That's
I
gonna be
think
none, right? Oh, sorry, can't count. What were you gonna say?
yeah, but yeah, interestingly, if you do have a higher one, it won't return the values, it will just return you none. So even if some values are inside the range,
That's monkey.
yeah,
Interesting.
just nice to know. Use it once and then like, oh.
Alright. Next section? Unless there's any other comments.
Hmm.
Well, you have a comment?
But it's going on to comments next. Oh, no, it's not,
No.
it's functions. Oh.
Functions.
Yeah, I feel like we've already covered this with router functionality.
Yeah.
Obviously the main function's special. But yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty expected.
You know, in the book, if you press the play, does it compile?
It doesn't always, so I just ignore it. But okay, it doesn't.
Usually it's what I mean.
I take it you wouldn't be able to do a const in a function parameter. That wouldn't mean much, would it?
It should be allowed though, right? Like, do you mean,
It would be a
this?
number that you can only set. Like,
Do you mean like this?
no, I meant the actual
Oh.
function definition itself. Like instead of define x as a const, which would, I guess, would mean that it's a number that you have to give in like at compile time, like it has to be a hard code number, it can't be a variable,
I don't know if,
maybe?
I don't know if that's possible, is it?
You have to try some seriously.
To have a
I
constant
don't know how
value
you would
there.
express that, yeah.
Or put a const before the x.
I think you would probably do that inside the function.
Or outside.
Declare a constant inside the function.
Is there any reason why you want to require it?
But I don't,
Well,
yeah.
no, not really. Not that I can think of.
Like, I don't think this means anything in this, like, X position, does it?
No, default values you can't do either, right? With Rust.
No.
Can't do default values.
So I guess it would be
No,
cool if you
honest.
could have like you could have a function that internally needs to create an array, but you don't want the array to be dynamic. Not dynamic, but like, you don't want the array to be dynamic. So you want to be able to tell it how many elements should be in the array when you compile
I
the
suppose you
code.
could probably use some type of a macro for that.
Okay.
Yeah. I probably would
Yeah,
refer to macros there, because basically with macros you can explicitly, like, you can do that and make that mean something.
Yeah.
So yeah, unless const implements a trait, I don't think there's any way of doing that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty edge, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to look that all in, but I don't. Yeah, unless constant implements a trait, I can't think of a way that you would express that here. But maybe there's a use case for it. I don't know. Yeah. So function bodies.
Things like you've gone through all of these already.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only point here is that this doesn't work, right?
That shouldn't really work.
Yeah, because let is a statement
Exactly.
rather than an expression. But other than that, I don't think there's anything that we haven't covered. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is probably one of the few cases where it isn't an expression. I think like most things like if and match and whatever all return.
Yeah, it goes on to say calling out marker is an expression in the block that we create use codes with. So I think related to what you were talking about earlier, when you said it's probably easier to like create macros for stuff like what you want to integrate with like array and then the function.
Yeah. Yeah, like I see people write like hash map macros that like do that kind of thing. Yeah. I guess the other thing which isn't always common in programming is that brace always means like a scope. And as soon as the end brace happens, these don't exist unless they've been bound to something on the outside.
But we're not getting to that.
That's the scope.
Yeah, you'll get into that in chapter 4. I guess we can go this.
It's a small. Huh? It's a small.
So yeah, we have an implicit return here, which is maybe different to others where you have to always pass return.
It's nicer, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Saves you time.
Compile time.
It's interesting. I think if you return inside a scope, like an inner scope, it ignores the fact that it's in a scope. Yeah, like you're saying, just returns 12.
Like you can't do that here.
If you put return, yeah.
Yeah.
Return is only for the function.
Yes, I think you could write if false 12 else 5 and that would work.
If false what, sorry?
If false 12 else 5.
Yeah.
So wrap the 5 in an else.
Yeah,
That's a good way to put it.
beautiful. I think that does it. Yeah. Because
That is great.
it's, the compiler knows that there's no other return value, but the fact that you've added an extra value at the end, it then is confused. Yeah, but the error is quite weird.
What does it say now? Oh.
It's probably even more confusing because
Because the if is returning.
An expression.
If you put a semicolon there, that's it.
no, I just think that's not allowed. Like I can put that if you want.
If you put that, then that will work. It will just return 12. But it makes sense though, because
Yeah.
the if is an expression.
Oh, it was
You're returning something, but you're not storing it anywhere.
The else
This
doesn't
guy
count
is
as,
already
the
done.
else doesn't count as a second expression. It counts as
It's the
part of
same,
it.
yeah, it's the same expression. But if you put return, then it returns the function from the function. It doesn't return from the expression, which is weird.
This is actually useful because Rust doesn't have a ternary operator. You just write let y equals if some condition x else z.
I see.
And it's kind of nearly as short, isn't it?
You can put in one line as well.
Yeah.
That's the ternary
So you
operator.
can end with ternary.
Yeah, there's someone online that was showing nested matches, which
Like, I'm looking at that, I'm like, that's so simple.
and then, yeah,
Makes you scared.
That's it.
yeah, so what Rust is doing is, whenever it evaluates this, it calls this, and then the whole expression returns. So your return value is the result of this.
But the types have to match.
Yeah, that's true. I think TypeScript would let you get away with that, but obviously,
TypeScript does let you.
so there's
I think PHP will let you get away with that as well.
PHP lets you get away with it.
I'm not entirely sure. I think it does.
But like even
I don't think it would.
like even this won't work because each arm won't match out.
Yeah, I won't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you might actually copy code. Oh.
I guess if your both types implemented into something, into the type you're expecting, then maybe that will work.
I don't think so.
Don't think it would.
Because the type you're expecting is a trait into something. Will that not work? It'll be interesting to see. But it's a bit out of scope of this chapter.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah,
but I
let's
also
leave that, yeah.
I also don't think it'll work. The only way that I know that kind of thing works is that you turn it into an email.
Okay.
But I don't. Yeah, maybe there's other ways around it. But yeah, basically, the type of this expression has to be like known, and obviously both of those aren't the same type.
No.
They are, depending on how you look at it. If the type is a trait and they both implement that trait, then they're both the same type.
No, because they're not. They might both. I mean, both of these implement debug, for example.
Yeah, but you're trying to cast to a string. If you were trying to cast to a variable and type hint debug, so you only care about that debug variable, then will that let you do that?
Yeah, but that's separate though. Being from.
Try it. Or is it? Sorry, if it's scope. If it's out of scope, then
It's
Leave
like
it.
really out of scope.
let's leave it. I now want to know.
Yeah,
I'll try it here.
yeah. Put it in channel later. But I'm pretty sure it will. Okay. Yeah. Is this just talking about the fact that this is mutable? Okay. Yeah. So I guess it is kind of confusing in that it's not mutable in the sense that this gets copied to him, and then this is a new value.
Yeah, because it implements copy.
Yeah, so this isn't the same piece of data.
Yeah.
When it gets to +1.
No, because it's different scope, isn't it? As well. So,
Yeah, but I think the point is that if this was a string,
yeah.
it wouldn't let you do that. In fact, that's I'm string. Yeah, let's do string. And apparently got that.
Expect a string to find a variable.
Okay, right. You can
do that?
plus. Yeah, you can
Oh,
plus. You can plus a string.
Oh, yeah, just have it.
Sorry.
it's just appending
You
it.
can plus a.
Yeah,
Because this is a hand struct, right? But I think the whole point is that so this return we're not adding to X. We're not doing like x equals.
No, back to this.
That's just an expression, right? That gets returned as a different value.
So even though it's out of that block, it's still able to just get it from the member and that's what X was previously.
So I actually think in this case, you're moving the string. So if you assign let S equals string from 5 and then pass S in and then try to use S again afterwards, you'll find S doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
It's going to have to state at the end of the +1 function. This is the really confusing thing about it for us.
Oh, you're moving it into the function, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You could pass a reference in that case, but yeah, again, out of scope.
But this works too, right?
So now if you try to print S,
Print
then
L.
you get the compiler.
Good point.
It's a sneak peek into the next chapter.
Yeah. So the S memory is passed into this function, and this is very unique to Rust.
It takes ownership of it.
Yeah, and so it's never passed back out of this function. So this consumes the memory, and the S actually gets dropped from memory.
Cool. That's weird for a language where the default variables are mutable. It feels like a contradiction in some ways. Like you would expect, immutable is the default. Because you would expect if variables are by default immutable, then you might as well just give them when they come back out, right? Because like with functional programming languages at least,
No, but
you give a variable and nothing happens to it.
But the thing is, like, inside the function, you can change X to be something else.
So,
As in, you own that variable, so you can do. Actually, I'm not sure if you can do X equals another type. Yeah, you could. No.
Isn't it supposed to be
You're right, yeah.
by default though?
yes, you can change the parameters to say mute X string, and then you are allowed to mutate X inside the +1 function.
Oh yeah, it's immutable, but you can create a mutable reference inside the +1 function and mutate it.
But in that case, we weren't mutating it. We returned a new copy, I'm assuming.
So now it's just not compiling because of the deliberate mistake you put in earlier.
I think it makes sense once you know about immutable reference.
But then if you change that, it
Because
won't.
if you remove the mutable keyword, so you're passing X there, and it's immutable, so you think +1 cannot mutate it, but then inside +1, now because you're doing that, but now inside +1 you can create a mutable reference of it and change it however you want. So it doesn't really restrict you. You can create a variable called A equals mutable reference, and then now do like that symbol, reference symbol mutable, right? Or you will do it, mutable.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, can you not do that? Yeah, because you own X.
Put it before.
You own X, so you can create mutable references of it and change it.
You own an X, but X isn't mutable, so I don't think you can borrow it mutably.
Yes, you should be able to. Cannot do that on a string.
Oh, it doesn't have to see.
Yeah, because the owner can give a mutable reference as long as it's only one. He can give one, right? Let's see if we can get this to compile first.
An operation can be applied to, because it's a reference.
Yeah, just to append or something like that, right?
You can't, okay, yeah.
Is that right?
But don't do A plus A, just do append, right?
Because they're two different types. One's a reference, one's not a reference.
How do you mutate a string now? Surely there's a way, right?
You push,
Yeah, push to it.
because it's a vector underneath.
Picture form reference.
Oh, single quote.
No. It doesn't. Maybe.
Single quote is a character.
You can only push one character at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because it's called a push string.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Cannot borrow immutable argument X. as mutable.
Yeah,
So,
Alex was right.
so it's not taking ownership then?
It is, it's just it's taking ownership and you declare it explicitly to be not mutable.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so this is
And this is
like,
confusing, yeah.
like as if, like that's kind of like that, isn't it?
Yes.
Even though it's not, in a way. Yeah, so, yeah. But it does own it, but also we, started covering ownership way ahead of time.
So it must be about, because you're right, it should just not care, but it's because if it didn't care, then it wouldn't know when to drop the memory, maybe. That's why it only has one ownership, because then it knows when it has to drop the memory, in this case, when the function ends.
Yeah, and so Rust is fixing this.
Yeah.
With non-lexical lifetimes.
Okay.
So basically, back to how we were before, S currently is owned by them,
By plus one.
but at the end of this function call, S should actually come back because it's not consumed or modified.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember the rules about non-lexical lifetimes, but
So I assume it would still get moved.
but I think it's
I thought non-lexical lifetimes were just about be more clever about don't complain about a dangling reference if you don't try to use the reference.
maybe, I don't know.
I've not
Anyway,
really looked into it.
yeah, let's move on.
Right.
Yeah, so this is quite good in that the compiler helps with quite a few things like this, where, as I said earlier, the return type, if you don't actually return anything, is a blank tuple. And so it's making the assumption that you messed up here and should remove this. Which is quite nice. I don't know of any of them which helps that much. I don't know. Looking vaguely at the C# side of the room. I
So
don't
it looks in the compiler that draws a diagram like that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Other than maybe like Git, but yeah. Like crazy line diagram. Is there any questions? That's all. Should we cover comments?
Yeah, we can comment on it.
I was just waiting for that one.
That was easy, man.
You'll be waiting for that one. It was not. Big factors.
So that, yeah, I mean, the shortest chapter going, section. Yeah, doesn't even cover document comments either, which is weird.
Maybe it's just because introduction,
Yeah,
just show how to do comments. You know, because there are some variances between languages when you come to write comments.
yeah, I mean, weirdly, it doesn't even cover the comment type either, right? Like that.
So is that just a normal comment or is that one of the doc ones that you mentioned?
No, this is just
This is
another
normal
one,
comment.
which is weird why it's not like. Is that not well used? Right.
I never use.
I have to shoot it because I'm familiar with CSS.
That's what I'm saying, like, okay, that's CSS comments. I'm like, what
I
are you doing?
think it supports it, so I don't know. I
It's
really
a
did.
C comment.
Yeah.
It's been
What's it?
copied verbatim by lots of the languages.
So it is fine then to use that.
Yeah,
You can use loads, so how many
so that's a documentation
is
comment.
it?
Yeah, but I think it only works in certain places like functions. So I don't really know. I haven't done much documentation. Like weirdly enough, there's like a weird like argument way of doing that as well, but I can't remember it in a second.
I think there's also some clever thing that you put unit tests into your comments and then the documentation will actually test your code as it's documenting it so you will never be wrong.
Yeah, so it's not even that weird. Like I think I can't remember the syntax, but yeah, like it's just like it will unit test them.
Is that what they're doing with the book? So I remember reading a line at the top of the book which said something like the book tests, like no version of Rust will break the book or something like that.
Yeah, I
So
think
maybe
so.
the book itself is just a massive
Okay, yeah.
comments.
I mean, that's pretty much, yeah,
Yeah.
like how they work anyway. Like when you see them in, I'm trying to think of what would have comments in the standard library. String. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, string.
Down to the source.
So actually you can see across also the snippets there, you've got assertions in them.
Yeah, and so they are this, like Alice was saying, these markdown style code quote. And then they are printed out in their documentation. But like Alistair saying, they actually, when you build the documentation, it will run the code against it. So there's no way of building invalid documentation, which is pretty cool. Like you can skip them as well if you did want to do all the setup. And there is some weird way of like commenting out the code as well. So you can do like a setup function, but like not print it in the documentation. But yeah, I can't. I know Shane's been doing that.
Yeah.
So like the code will still run, but then you make it just the readable part.
Oh, yeah, of course, without, yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
Second slice, comment slice.
I think we might have covered a lot of this as well. Oh yeah, this is maybe different than other languages, in that there's no like casting of.
There's no truthy and falsy values.
Well, there's Boolean, right?
Well, okay, yeah.
But what it's saying is that it requires bool. So the only way to do it would be like that, which then becomes an expression, and the expression returns a bool. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's fairly common in like C and C#, right?
I was thinking C, anything that's not zero is truth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah, true. C++? I don't know.
Even I think most languages do truthy and falsy stuff.
Yeah, and most of it's like
Yeah.
that you have to keep it on your head and
Yes, and then you get those weird situations where A equal to B doesn't imply that B is equal to A.
yeah. But you can actually, can you implement? No, I don't think you can. Can you? Like two bool, and then make it behave like it as if it was a bool.
I guess you'd still have to write if number dot into to make it compile.
I thought there was a way of making it so it actually does behave like a bool as well, but yeah, again, you have to explicitly do it, I think. Yeah, so other than that, I think there's nothing special there. But I mean, that is special in itself, right? Like you're saying. I feel like I've seen this before, but I don't know why. Where?
What about?
Maybe the everything has to be a bool. Like there's
I've
no
never seen that
way.
before. Only
No way
Rust.
in that.
That's pretty good though, that they do that.
Well, yeah, like if you
Like-
take JavaScript as an example, like none of them
Oh, yeah.
make sense, pretty much.
I was just thinking about like the zero
Oh, yeah.
equals not zero, which is equal to
String
false.
string zero makes sense, I think.
This is
But,
false.
like some of the array ones, are
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, it
the
makes-
array one.
It makes sense that in PHP, if you have like a string, say 0, 1,
Yeah.
and then a title,
You saw that.
that means that's false. If your string it starts with 0, if you're listing chapters and your first chapter is 0, 1, and then your title, and you say is a string true or false, it will say it's false.
Yeah.
Because the first character is a 0. That's all it cares
oh
about.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that bad in PHP.
It's really bad, yeah.
Wow. That's
That's why I like this so much.
so that in PHP would be false, right? Blank array.
Well, your
But
guess
then-
is as good as mine.
But that,
No, I
but that's
would do-
true. And then like that's false again.
We did actually figure this out until we actually used it. We got a testimonial.
I don't. I think is it because string behaves like a array, and then
Basically, no, you
like, I
got,
think this is also false.
No,
Something false.
yeah, what it does is it casts the string to a number first. And if the string first character is 0, then it says, okay, the number is 0.
Okay, so
And 0 is false.
in summary, this is really great, and stop using it.
Simple, but good.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's this kind of thing that makes Rust really, really strong. Like I've seen so many like expressions where like we've talked before about like like in objects as well when you've got a property that's undefined.
Yes.
You have like a extremely complicated security check, and like just because like the fact it's undefined, it falls through, and oh, now you're an admin. Great.
The other thing I really don't like in JavaScript is sometimes you turn the truthy value into a real true or a false value into a real false by writing x equals not y.
I mean that actually is kind of good practice in some cases where you like want to force it to be Boolean, and you know.
It's just really, really weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't. Yeah.
I don't know, the first time I saw that, I got really confused. And then I went into Java and tried to do it and it didn't work. It's not very nice, it's really weird.
Yeah, so again, all these have to be Boolean or expressions that return Booleans. Again, all the matches. So this actually desugars to a match, right?
Hmm?
I think.
Yeah, that's, you can turn that into, well, I guess you don't want to, right, in this case, because you're not extracting any value. Or, well, I guess it doesn't matter, right, if you're not extracting any value.
No, but I think they are all matches under the hood, but they just behave slightly different. But yeah, the fact that they have to return the same value. But we've kind of covered that earlier with our expression messing about. We did this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did that. So that's all. Yeah.
Okay. Luke.
We haven't
So I guess this is fairly different.
So there's a difference between loop and while. Oh yeah, now it is.
And wait, why does an if statement work without a semicolon at the end, but also with, like, is a semicolon just, it doesn't care? Or-
So this is because they're assigning it. Is that what you're asking?
Because I think we did a thing where we weren't assigning it and we didn't have the semicolon and it worked. So if you take out the left number and take out the semicolon and put in a condition.
So then what's gonna happen is that would be the return value of the main function.
Right.
Is it what you mean?
So that
Yeah.
main is
If you don't put a semicolon, that value will be returned by the function you're in, so main.
Right.
But main always expects nothing to be returned, so it's complaining.
Yeah. So
It
you
expects this a unity type.
There are 3 different compilers here.
Oh, can you do that now?
Yeah,
In the new version, right? Yeah.
maybe not in release. I don't know.
I think it has to be a result.
Also, we're still trying to do an if on a value that's not a Boolean, and we have
Oh, yeah, we discovered that.
3 compilers.
Okay. Next time.
Expected, and it got 6.
So you need to put
What?
two of the same values.
Oh, yeah, just the condition is to return at the same time.
But you can. I think you still can't do this, right?
No, because you are returning 5 and 6. Like you
5 and
said,
6 and 6 being text.
like you said, you
string,
need to,
not-
yeah.
Not a number.
Oh, I see.
No, the 6 in the else. It's
Yeah, but what I wanted to get to is this error,
oh.
not the fact the return value.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Incompatible
I
types.
see me.
Yeah. So this error, even though we have scopes, the scope itself is an expression, and the return value of that 3 to 9 line then becomes the return value of the function itself. If we put a semicolon here,
Okay.
this scope becomes that, which again, we could assign to a variable var, but it's still complaining about the fact that these two are different values.
So even down to the main thing, we need to make sure the types are correct. The same types.
Yeah, so yeah, you can't return something that is not.
So even though the return work is
Yeah, I wanted to get to the fact that there's no way of returning something that's different out of those two, which I think that's a bit more common.
Yeah. I don't think I can't think of a language actually that do that, unless you're thinking JavaScript or whatever. Or some language where they don't care about types.
Oh, so most type languages wouldn't let you do that, is that what you're
I'm pretty sure they don't.
saying? Okay,
Because
but we're not
Yeah,
actually
I don't-
evaluating to a value is what I'm saying. But it's
no, but
still
like the fact that you're
type-checking,
the fact that you're returning two different values means that your function has to be flexible enough to return the two different types, which in most languages you either do by inheritance or implicit casting, or you can't.
But this scope's getting thrown away, so it's like as if I've just, I don't know. I mean, we're kind of doing that, right? But there's still no way around it. I could just one of those like ways around that in C++, but I don't.
I didn't.
Again, it's not something I tried to do,
Yeah.
but yeah, again, so like, we're back to JavaScript and PHP would let you do that and many other horrible things.
Leave JavaScript alone for today, man.
Doesn't Python all?
Yeah, so anything like dynamic would let you do anything like that.
Actually, PHP funny enough is getting types on members groups.
Remember.
Yeah.
And
Um,
this is just looping. What's loop?
so it's basically a one.
Is it a while?
I don't really know why you would use
It's a while without
loop as a while. Yeah. So
Okay, so it's just what, like, okay, without condition.
Yeah, so what like when you know while you create or let's say buffer and fine or that.
Yeah,
And then in your thinking you do plus.
yeah,
So this is just a loop. And whatever you do your condition, right? You break your condition or you break the loop inside the loop.
okay.
Whereas it's a
So
while.
yeah, they would do it within the while statement.
I meant that.
So if you just type loop and open bracket and start writing code, you've made an infinite loop.
But he's saying that's the condition, like, agree until it's like,
Yeah, you have to write your own
Yeah.
condition inside.
yeah. Which,
yeah, I mean,
which is like when you do a let statement in JavaScript, really. Like when you let it in the block. So if you're doing like say a loop, or you're doing a condition, and you say, because the block scope, you remember we had that error where it was keep looping and just continue on looping, but then with let, it would just render it to that specific block. So it's like conditional to that specific block.
yeah, you don't have that at all.
No, I'm just saying that's similar in the way that you've written that, because you would just run that and it wouldn't come out of that entire block. It would just be within that loop that you would run. And you wouldn't get it where it would be an infinite loop. It would just run based on the condition of that if statement that you just put in. Which is like if you use a let within JavaScript.
Not too much about JavaScript, so.
We did it. Remember when I had that error? Remember when I wrote that JavaScript and then it kept breaking, and you said, okay, just change that to let, I think meant 9 with Jody, to be honest. They said just use that as a let within the block, and then it will just literally render it within that block, so you won't actually break the actual JavaScript code.
I mean, that sounds like a scope issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you use var, it just
Yeah.
rates it basically
Yeah.
global.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, would that just run all time, or is it breaking?
Yeah, no, it breaks out of the loop at the point when the value is greater than 12. So we did cover this in the guessing game actually. We used a loop, and it was infinite until they got the right answer. So you were prompted for.
Yeah, we put conditions in it.
Yeah.
To bring it up, so they would actually continually guess.
That's like programmatic piece, and this is your CPU fans getting like crazy.
So this
No.
runs on the server. That's his computer. Yeah, I think this runs on like a BP Mozilla server in his guy somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. Why are we expecting it not to return?
Yeah, I was expecting it to finish, it's just.
That's what you normally hear in sleep when you're eating the loop, isn't it? The fun, the CPU just keep going.
Yeah, so if we were doing this locally, obviously you can cancel out of it, but we can't do that here. So I had to put it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did.
So you're like wild, so when would you use wild then?
I think it's mostly about code style. It's like if you really need the expression up front.
You would use that. But is this the preferred way of writing a loop?
What if you have a loop in a loop?
What?
Would you do it? If you had a loop in a loop, would you want to do it in a while or
So you do wild then loop. Yes, was all.
no, not a loop in a loop?
I read somewhere that if you do a while behind the scenes, it just writes a loop and writes the expression for you like that. It just says if your expression then break. So basically the only loop that the language knows about is loop. Really. That's
Okay.
the only loop that ever gets executed. The for loop and while, they're just syntax sugar for you to know.
Okay.
See, I would have thought this loop would be the syntax sugar for while, where it would just make a while with true inside it.
So if you think about what while compiles into, it's going to actually be series of go-tos into assembly language level.
Really? Why? What
Because
is while?
because while doesn't exist as a CPU instruction, all it's got is if this condition
Oh,
is true.
but that's all loops, right, yeah, but I guess all loops would essentially, but I mean, it sounds to me like loop is basically only written to serve as an easy infinite loop, so you don't have to do while true. Because that's essentially what it is.
But while is more complex than a loop, in the sense that it has a condition. So a while is just a loop with something else.
But I guess you might end up with a more complex match that you want a loop for, where like it would be really complex to express in a while loop expression. Like if you were doing a match against right, like
Okay.
and it breaks with one variant, that would be probably pretty hard to express in a while statement. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I can kind of see where that's going, but.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't have a code example, but I don't really use loops, so.
You don't like loops, from what I remember.
Me? No, I just don't like them in JavaScript. 'Cause
Playing JavaScript, oh, okay.
Okay,
Conditional loop.
yeah, so this is what we were discussing. So it's basically the same.
They just write the condition right there, right beside the while. See, that just makes more sense, but, you know,
What this?
what's there, you read it better.
Oh, you're in the loop thing, doesn't make sense.
No, I didn't say it didn't make sense, I just said I can read that a lot better than.
Yeah, I think whiles for that reason, like in most cases, it'll be more readable.
But if you're doing a server, you have to be listening for a connection forever. Then loop saves you characters to type. You're just loop,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. If you want to close the program, it's Control C, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe, yeah.
So I think this is the point of this exercise is to replace it with a form which we did earlier. Right? So yeah, this is again a nice reading.
So is there a thing on
An array, yeah.
arrays and tuples?
I don't know if they're on tuples.
Oh, no, because they're different types, you can't, okay.
I think you can create an iterator for any type.
No, it has to implement iterator.
Yeah, so
And then some implement into iterator where you don't have to do
Oh.
this at all.
fair enough. So you
But I don't think this one.
I think you can write 4 elements in ampersand anyway.
Okay, I don't know how that works.
What's the end?
Oh, because, yeah, I see. Yeah, go on.
So it's getting a borrowed reference to A. So think of it like a pointer.
Right, yeah.
So it means almost the same thing as it means C. But I think because you've got a pointer to the array, that does influence automatic conversion into an iterator. Or rather, it influences it into iterator.
I think it's that it implements into iterator only when it's a reference, but it doesn't
Yes.
when it's, I don't.
Yes, because when it's a reference, iterating over it won't destroy the original thing.
Oh, that makes sense. But some things you don't need to do that, right? Like you can just use it. Trying to think what, like hash map, I think, yeah, like you can just do that, right? But it actually means different things as well, which is confusing. Like the reference one returns references, whereas the non-reference one returns only values, I think, is the difference. But anyway, that's a bit of a but yeah, basically, iterators are its own type. That's right, isn't it?
And so yes, there's lots and lots of different structures out there that implement the iterator trait, and only one of those will work with the for loop.
Right, yeah. So it's a trait, but yeah, essentially, it loops through each value. So we covered that earlier, right, with
Yeah, we did
the
that.
range, but
That are, right?
as that'll
Reverse.
reverse it from
Okay.
4 to 1, I think. Yeah, so it's not inclusive, which is the thing that might be confusing.
And if it's not within the range, so if it's not within 1 to 4, then it would give you none, right?
but that's a
But that was more for when we were using a getter. In this is actually
not sure why.
a type of itself. Is that right?
Probably, I think there's a
I think it is a-
reference later on somewhere.
I think it is a range type. Yeah,
It returned well.
I don't know how to turn that off. Okay.
Nice.
We made it, guys.